Welcome to Brain Break. I'm Lloyd James, and this is where we uncover real stories of people who are changing the game. No surface level stories, just raw, honest conversations about the challenges they have faced and what truly shaped them to be what they are today. Let's get into today's episode. Qeegs. Welcome to the Brain Break, the podcast. Brain Break, the podcast. Should get that right.
Thank you for having me.
Mate, it's an absolute pleasure. And I have to say, thank you for hounding me on socials. For going, I want to come on. I think I put one story up and you were I think you were actually the first person to go, I want to come on here.
Yeah, sorry, I'm keen to hop on.
Keen to have a little chat.
I haven't seen you much since school, so...
Since school? Oh, okay, right. Let's give it a bit of background, right, for listeners and viewers. Long story very short, I was your form tutor from year 7 all the way up to year 11, I believe.
Yeah, year 11.
Year 11. Then I decided to go and expand the business.
Yeah.
And I thought I did my duty of like educating and supporting you guys up to year 11. I was like, if I haven't done the job right up until now, then, you know, if they haven't learned anything up until year 11, I can't teach them in the next 12 months or whatever it is, right? So I think that's a really good starting point because I want to get to know you on a slightly deeper level other than what we see on socials, right? And my first recollection of you walking in, you were always relatively a smaller person, right? Especially year 7. Your bag was, from what I remember, your bag was always bigger than you, right? Can you take us back when you came at Belridge in year 7? What was your first impressions of me?
Oh, we all loved you, like everyone in our class. We were like, because it was like our first sort of experience with the teacher, really. Like, oh, like they're actually, like we thought. I think going into school, everyone thinks it's like big scary teachers, but it was just like you, just this chill guy, just chatting, talking to everyone. So yeah, we all loved you from the start, and it just
I appreciate that.
Stuck like that for years.
No, I appreciate that, and you know, what I think is really nice is the fact that I've got multiple students that ex-students, shall I say, that are like reaching out to either come on podcasts or wanting to learn about photography, videography through the business and that kind of stuff. And I think it's really good the fact that they see me more than just, you know, the teacher that potentially sleeps at school, stays there and, you know, has that teacher boring life. But I've always had other things happening, right? And to keep things professional, I've always sort of said, look, you know me as Mr. Silver, and moving in, you know, outside of like school, you can call me Lloyd. I'm all good with that. But what I want to know, before you came to Belridge, right? You're born and raised in Perth. Whereabouts in Perth?
Just north in Padbury.
Okay, in Padbury. What was your upbringing like?
It was good, really good.
Yeah?
Like, all parents always supportive, always there, helping me with anything I need. So, yeah, it was good.
And so you've been sort of living up that way in Duncraig, do you say?
Padbury.
Padbury. You living from there, like, what was the things to do when you were in primary school, when you were hanging out? What sort of stuff did you land up doing?
I played a lot of sports, really, like cricket, footy, anything really. Bit of soccer here and there. Pretty much that was the main thing, just playing sport.
So sport, and I remember you were very much into the whole sporting world, and obviously I think the whole form class were pretty into the sports stuff, right? What's happened to sports at the moment? Are you still into it? Yeah, I'm
still into it. I don't play much anymore. I literally just play golf now.
Play golf?
Yeah.
I've got a question to ask you though regarding the golf, right? You're for the listeners and viewers that might not follow you, you are quite a sort of you like your golf with when you hit the ball, you like doing the Michael Jackson tippy toe thing happening. Yeah. What's happening there?
It's just a trend that started when X Club, an act from Melbourne, would like teasing one of their songs, and it was just like a trend. Everyone just started doing it.
Okay.
And then it was just like I just started fucking around and just doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I think it's hilarious because I'm watching you like there teeing off, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that's a pretty good hit, and then suddenly your little tippy toes and your calves are showing, and I'm like, what's going on here? Like, there's obviously a little thing behind it. So that was really good. So obviously you enjoyed your sports when you were young, in your younger days, and going through to secondary school when we first met. Did you land up still doing a fair bit of sport at school, like in secondary school?
Yeah, I played like cricket and stuff all through school.
Yeah,
I played basketball. I played everything. I just loved sports, but yeah, definitely taking a step away from that
And so
as I gotten older.
when you were like 7, 8, 9, in year 7, 8, and 9, what was going through your mind in regards to like jobs and careers?
It's pretty funny. I always knew I was going to be a Sparky,
Mm-hmm.
like from when I started school.
Okay.
Like started high school, I just knew what I was going to do. So I was like, yeah, that was always the option. It was always what I was going to do.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. And then obviously the Spark, and now you're 4th year
Yeah,
apprentice.
fourth
Yeah.
year now, yeah.
Okay. And so when you decided to, you knew that you wanted to become a Sparky, but obviously you look now on your socials, you don't see anything about fixing people's cables or anything of that sort, right? So when did you kind of like fall and find the love for music?
So I've always loved music. I think a big turning point really for me with music, especially like with my mates as well, was we went to one of the first festivals we went to was we were all really into Fisher at the time, and we went and watched Fisher, and we were like just turned 18, so it was like one of our first festivals. We went to that and we like absolutely frothed it, and that was like, if like ask any of my mates, it was just like one of those moments where it was just like we just loved it that much, and that we were all so into that music from then, and sort of just progressed. Like we all like love the nightlife, like love going out, partying, all this, and then so I love the music, and then sort of just one of my mates was like, "Oh, you should just start like you should just get decks and like start DJing." And that's sort of how it all started.
So when did you go to the Fisher concert? What
It would have been in, I think it was towards the end of the year.
End of year 12? Is that what you mean?
No, year after when we were all 18.
Oh, after year 12, because I've got a slight bone to pick with the Form group, but maybe yourself. But I remember, like, I think in Form I used to play a bit of house music or whatever. I was like, oh, I'm really into this kind of stuff, and I think some of you were like, nah, this is not the vibe or whatever.
Yeah, I think
you changed your tune quite quickly
at the time. Yeah, I think a lot through school I used to listen to like a lot of rap and stuff like that, and then I don't know, just like sort of progressed out of school, and then we all just like sort of loving that music, and then that was a big one because we realized how much we actually enjoyed that sort of music and that sort of flavor of it.
So, and then take us back to that Fisher moment, right? So you booked your tickets, you're going to that festival, right? You got no idea what to expect, I guess.
No expectations. We just thought, oh, it's gonna be pretty good. Like a few of the boys from work had told me like, oh, Fisher's pretty cool, like he's sick, and we got there, and then we just it was just such good vibes, and we just loved it. It just kept getting better and better, and then it finished, and we were like, oh, fuck, that was just so good.
Yeah. And so, the concert or the festival, the gig finished. You went home obviously on a high, and then you went out there and bought your decks straight away.
No,
what was that transition? What was going through?
Would have been that same year, but like it was always we'd have praise, and then I was always on like playing the music or whatever, and we were playing like music in the air, and then one of the other boys was like, oh, just why don't you like buy DJ decks? And then so I was like, fuck it, like I bought them, and then just like started practicing. I used to like come home from work and I'd sit in my room, so I'd sit on this office chair for like 6 hours every night, just like mixing like the same like 30 tunes for like 6 months.
Really? And so what sort of decks, do you remember? Do you still have them? Are they different ones?
No, I actually gave them to Riley. He's
Riley,
behind the camera.
Riley, the Brain Breaks producer
behind
over
the
there.
Camera.
Is he practicing? Is he all right? Is he practice or is he just sat there?
I don't think he's touched them for like 2 years.
Riley hasn't touched them.
Yeah. It was just like a DDJ 200 like Pioneer. It was probably like that big. It was tiny. But yeah, I loved it. And then I think from then I just was like, I just kept teaching myself for probably about a year, and then started playing at bar one, and then it sort of just all progresses from there.
And so obviously you buy these decks, right? And you're kind of thinking, okay, where do I start? You had no mentor, you had no lessons.
No, I taught
myself. Yeah, so how do you overcome those situations? Like obviously you found the love for it, you thought you'd give it a crack. There must have been difficult moments, thought, I can't mix this. This is not, I'm not getting the hang of it. There must have been difficult periods during that moment. Yeah. Do you remember any of those, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, I think for like the most part, probably 90% of it, I just taught myself. And then one of my friends, Santi, he gave me like, I think it was once, he gave me like a couple pointers, and that was pretty much all I've got from the outside and DJing. And then, it was because I was just sitting in my room, and then I'd be like, fuck, like I don't actually know how to mix it from this song to this song. I was like, how do I make this sound good? So there was always literally just YouTube straight away. And I was just like being shown to YouTube, and then there's literally anything you need is just there. And I was just like, I'd search up whatever I wanted, and then I'd just watch the video, and then I'd practice it, and then watch the video again, and then I'd practice it.
And I think I may have mentioned that during our time at school, that University of YouTube, literally you can learn anything from there. And obviously it's got you to where you are today.
Yeah.
And then you got those decks. So you practiced for 6 months solid. six
Yeah.
hours a night, whatever it is in the evening. You know, and so during that period that you were practicing, what was going through your mind? You're thinking, okay, what am I practicing for? Like, were you building a network of people behind you? What did that look like?
At the start, I literally was just doing it because it was fun and like at like pre-drinks or like going out and stuff, it was like sick to just whip it out and like all the boys loved it. Like just playing cool tunes, just playing tunes we wanted to hear, and then yeah, I never really thought about actually doing it and taking it further until I started DJing at like bar one, started playing in clubs, and then I realized I actually like really enjoyed it, and then I was like, oh shit, I can actually like take this somewhere, and then that's when I think I played for about a year in like the sort of commercial scene around like a lot of the commercial clubs, and then I sort of progressed. I was like, okay, well, I want to sort of take this further, and then that's when I got into like music production, and then I was like, I want to follow my sound, which is like the house and techno, that sort of sound. That's when I sort of took a step away from that commercial side and like pushed to go for that house scene, which is what I've been doing now for the last probably 2 years.
Before we go into the producing and going into, you know, your current situation with Volt and everything
Yeah,
else, right? I want to know a little bit more about your first gig. You're saying,
yeah,
right, you practiced for 6 months solid. I'm just trying to tap into your mind in like that moment of
yeah.
like going, okay, now how did that opportunity come up for you to do your first gig? Were you nervous? How did that come about? And did people say you're shit, you're good?
Yeah.
What happened? How did you overcome those things?
Fuck. If you ask any of my mates, they would have said it was sick. But I thinking back on it, it was fucking dreadful. Like it was a shit set. Like I knew, like looking back at it now, I thought it was good at the time.
Mm.
But like I think like 2 days before, I had all this music made, and then I realized I couldn't like download it because I was like I hadn't really properly downloaded music yet. So I was like 2 days out, and I couldn't bring my laptop because they couldn't. I like for some reason I couldn't use my laptop.
Mm.
I was like, oh shit, now I'm gonna put more music on USBs. I had no idea how to do that. I had to try and figure that out, which is like another YouTube thing. And then it was like $150 worth of like buying songs just to like download them. And then yeah, we went
Hold
to
on, you sorry, take me back because obviously I'm not in super.
yeah,
I'm not a DJ. I'm not into the DJ world. You paid $150 to download songs?
yeah. So you can buy songs for probably like well, you can get like you pay like monthly fees for like
Hmm.
some DJ record pools. You can download whatever you want whenever, but then you can buy some as well, like iTunes. You can download buy the MP3s and whatever. And then there's hundreds of sites. And then yes, I literally was buying and downloading all this music. I was like, well, I have to do it, otherwise I'm not gonna be able. Like I
Yeah.
thought I wasn't gonna be able to play.
And were you worried leading up to that first night, that first
Yeah,
event? So you were stressing.
yeah, because I'd post because everyone, a lot of my close mates knew that I DJ'd,
Mm.
like a big crowd of them, and then so they'd seen I'd put on my like Instagram, Snapchat story that I'm playing like my first club because people always ask me like when are you playing in clubs and whatever, and then yes, and then I was like so nervous going up to that, and I played 9 to 11 at bar one,
Yeah.
so like literally like no one there, but I think we had like 60 of our mates. We were just all standing there like at the front. I just going crazy, screaming. I think that was just like that whole energy lifted me up as well, and like it sort of killed like a lot of the nerves, and it
Mm.
just like everything sort of just flowed from then.
Have you had any moments, right, going to a gig or going to an event where you've had some really bad feedback?
Bad feedback.
Yeah.
I have actually played before a headliner before, and I've gone like a little bit too heavy
Okay.
because obviously
What does that mean? Tell me what that
so
mean. Heavy. Would you?
so like before a headliner, so as a house headliner, you don't want to rock up before them and play hard music before them if they're playing something more chill, whatever. Or like you don't really want to play faster than what the headliner's playing
And how do you know that though?
because obviously every song has like a speed, like tempo.
Yes, but how do you know what that main act is going to be
Because you
playing?
can just tell by like their music that they release.
So
They usually
yeah.
play a set along the lines of that, and then also like you can look at sets on YouTube or
Mhm.
SoundCloud that they've uploaded, and then you can sort of go in knowing what they're going to play. But yeah, I played a bit too heavy before a house headliner once, and it was literally just like it wasn't bad. It was just like, oh, like just be aware of this next time. I was like, yeah, sorry.
So who said that to you?
It was Isaac from the Vault.
Isaac from the okay. What he said. Oh, just be aware of that. So it's
Yeah,
a bit of a slap on the wrist.
yeah, it was sort of just like, but like, I love those boys, and they were, yeah, it was pretty much just like,
Okay.
but I think I knew as well after. I was like, shit, I kind of like, I think I fucked that. I think I
Yeah.
just played a bit too heavy, but I think in the moment, I just got a bit carried away because it was like I would have played a song and they would have got a good crowd reaction. Then I would have just sort of got carried away from then and just I'd not realized. And I think I hadn't played a before headliner slot in a while. It was a lot of like later slots, so I was sort of like in that vibe. But like now, like from that, like you just learn from it, and then now I'm just like I'm playing for a headliner tomorrow.
Are you?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
at,
What's tomorrow? What's
at the Vault.
Friday at the Vault?
Yeah, Morgan Seatree from the UK.
Okay. So you're playing. That means before him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'll be handing over to him. So now, like, I'm obviously more aware of it, and I played like a few since then, and like I always like look at their recent sets and see what they'll sort of start with,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll sort of try and tee it up as close to that as I can without
Mhm.
going over it,
Mm-hmm.
and then to try and keep it mellow, but like not boring where the crowd's like, oh shit, like I just try and keep people on the dance floor and dancing, but not really tire them out.
So
Just
you want to basically try and find a balance, right? Between okay, you don't want to take the limelight away from who everyone's there to go and see,
yeah,
right? But although when I do go onto the Vault website, well, not website, sorry, Instagram or socials, mate, to be honest, all I see is you. Like, are you the main act at Vault? Like, because what is going on there? Like, can you tell us a little bit more? Because okay, we've gone from your first house gig where you're nervous, like you downloaded a whole load of music and you just didn't know if that was going to go right.
yeah.
Then you went to bar one,
Yeah,
and
that was bar one.
oh, that was bar
Yeah,
one. That was
when I
bar
could
one.
download the music.
Bar one with 60 of your mates, and
Yeah.
you felt the energy there and everything else. So then, how did the relationship between bar one and Vault? Where did that transition happen?
So I think when we all sort of got more into that sort of flavor of music, after we sort of all got a little bit older, and we were actually going to the Vault, and we were loving it. And then I was like, fuck, like I want to play here,
Mm.
I want to play here. And then Bailey, who owns the Vault, plays at our footy club, and I think I was just talking to him the one time, and obviously he knew I DJ'd, and he was like, oh, just like send me a mix, like we'll get you to play and whatever. And then yeah, I think I sent a mix, and then within like a week, I got added to the DJ chat, and then started playing there for I think it would have been about 3 or 4 months, and then that's when I took a step away from everything else. I was like, this is what I want to do now.
Wow.
I want to push forward to this, and then yeah, it just has progressed since then. Like gotten a lot closer with Bailey and Isaac. Like we just went to Thailand and like doing like a few bits and bobs with them. But yeah, then I've just been playing there now, and that's like my only residency I hold, and then I just play events around other sets. Yeah.
And so that first mix, do you still have it? Do you remember what it was?
It'll be somewhere like deep on my SoundCloud. Yeah, it was just a techno mix. It was about 30 minutes. It was just hell simple. It was just like because I spoke to Bailey, I was like, just keep it simple.
Okay.
He's like, people try to do all this like crazy that try to spin backs and all this random
Yeah.
shit. Like literally just song to song, bit of reverb out of every song, and just like keep it simple.
Yeah.
That's what I did, and then like yeah, within a week I got added to the chat. Which was
Yeah.
sick.
Okay. And so obviously you and Bailey become close. You train in the same football club, is that right?
Well, I don't play footy anymore, but that's how I met Bailey initially.
Yeah.
Through the footy club.
Okay. And so when you met him, you sent him the mix, and he's like, okay, cool, yeah, I'll give you a crack, right? And so again, there must be another level of nerves
Yeah,
that come back.
was.
You're thinking, okay, you've gone from bar one, 60 of your mates, like you're loving life, but then you're kind of going up that next level, right?
Yeah.
Can you talk us through that emotion that you went through leading up to Vault, that first gig?
Yeah, so the Vault was like my next big step, which is where I wanted to go with like my DJing and whatever. And I played like a 9 to 11 slot again, and
9 to 11.
9 to 11.
So that means, in my understanding, that means no one's there.
Usually, yeah, people come in maybe 10, 10:30.
Okay.
Yeah, a few people around on the dance floor around 10:45.
And how do you cope with that mentally? Because although you might be excited to go to Vault, right, and you kind of you got a great opportunity, and it's like sick, yeah, everything else, but then you're kind of potentially DJing to no one.
I love it. I think
Okay.
if you ask a lot of other DJs, they would love it as well. Because I don't DJ for the money anymore. I used to, like when I was playing like constant. I was playing 4 or 5 sets a weekend at like different clubs, whatever. Playing like long sets at bar one. That was for the money. But then now, like I just DJ because I love the music, and I DJ to try and showcase my music and showcase myself, and sort of push myself on socials for like when I start releasing music.
That's incredible. So you go from meeting Bailey, then you get your first sort of gig at Vault. No one on dance floor, so to speak. People would start trickling 9:30, 10.
Well, actually, it was the similar thing to bar one. Is that it was my first Vault set, and all the boys sort of pulled up, and like actually it was like a lot. I think we actually had like a big pre-drinks at my house.
Okay.
And we had like 20, 30 people, and then everyone came to the Vault from the start, and then yeah, it's been good since then. Everyone just like I get messages all the time asking if I'm playing, when I'm playing next, and which is good.
That's incredible. So you go from there, and then so he's giving you like, let's say, the 9 till 11 slot.
Yeah.
That's a couple of hours, right? From my understanding, Vault is open to what, 5, 6?
5, yeah.
5 a.m. Okay, that's a long night. That's a night shift,
Yeah.
right? So you work, you're DJing between 9 and 11. How do you jump? When is the prime time at Vault, would you say?
Or you could go like 12 to 2, but being more specifically, probably 1 to 2.
1 to 2. So
1 to 3 maybe.
1 to 3?
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's weird because you get like some nights where it just depends on what's happening in Perth on that night. I feel like there could be like a really cool, like a big sort of act that a lot of people like, or like a big event on, and that might only finish at 12. So then people will only come in at 12:31. But then like some nights it literally just, I think it's like a lot of nightclubs as well. It just depends on what's on that night and where people are coming from, because people might come in at 2, people might come in at 3. And there's door sales till 5, so people will come.
Wow.
People will buy door sales at 4:30.
I mean, there might be. I mean, I'm just trying to envision what someone may look like at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning wanting to go to a club. I mean, there must be all sorts of characters coming in at that time.
Yeah, myself and Riley included. On many occasions.
Producer Riley.
Camera, he's bad for it as well. We're both pretty bad.
Okay.
We've had some big nights at the Vault, but yeah, we just love it there.
So you build a relationship with Bailey. You're on a 9 to 11 set. Did Bailey approach you and say, right, you're ready to go to the 11 to 1 set? How do you transition to that next?
So no, I don't think my set time was it wasn't to do with me being new or anything. It was just the time slot I got booked.
Okay.
But I think I got sent the month set times, and I was 9 to 11, the one on like the first weekend of the month, and then 9 to 11 on the last weekend of the month, and then I played 2, and then I think I played 11 to 12 a couple of weeks later, and then it bounced between that, maybe 2 to 3, 3, and then I played I think I played a couple of 3 to 5s, 2 to 5s.
So what time do you rock up? Are you there at 9 p.m.? No, do you rock up like literally an hour before?
It just depends what I'm doing on the night, because obviously like there's a lot of 21st on at the moment, so
okay,
I'll be rocking up like after the 21st. It could be like 12, 11.
Wow.
It just depends, like, so, yeah.
And as on a professional level, right? Yeah. You're being booked by club promoter Bailey and the crew, and they go, right, Qeegs, we want you to come and DJ 2 till 4, whatever that may be, very early hours. You're out with your mates on the 21st, right? Are you going in there fresh? Are you going in there like party mode? What sort of like environment's in your head at that time?
I do think about it a little bit, but I love playing once I've had a few drinks.
Yep.
And like I feel like it takes the edge off a bit. Like I would always have at least 2 beers before I play.
Okay, yeah.
Just because I've played sober before, like with no drinks, and like I was sort of like shaking. I wasn't nervous, but I was just sort of on edge. I didn't feel like natural. And then I had like a couple of beers, and then it's sort of like, just sort of takes the edge off a little bit. But I always make sure like I don't take it too far, because obviously at the end of the day, like I have a fun time, but like I'm being booked to, like, essentially it's work. Like I'm being booked to like DJ for this whole club, like, so I like always make sure not to take it too far if I'm DJing. But yeah, I was just like, I play better once I've had a couple of drinks as well.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm on the same level as the crowd, and I sort of feel like the vibe they want as well. But I always just make sure you just don't take it too far.
Don't take it too far, and know your limits, right? And obviously, like you say, it's a job.
Yeah,
you're there to entertain the crowd. The promoters have booked you in because they want you for your service, to play good music, keep the crowd happy, and obviously wanting them to come back each week, right? Obviously follow you on socials, and your dress sense. Like, did I see a cowboy outfit at some point? Was that a special event or something? What was all that about?
I did DJ in a cowboy outfit at the Vault. It was a last minute call up. I think I played 2 to 5. And we had a 21st that night, and it was like cowboy themed. So we were there, and then we actually went home to one of the boys' houses where we all had clothes, and we're like, should we get changed? And then, because that was the plan, we were gonna get changed and go out, and then we were all like, no, like, fuck it, let's just go out in the cowboy costume, and like we all just, like, it was like 6 of us rocked up like in these cowboy outfits with the hats and everything, and obviously I just DJ'd in that.
I remember seeing that on social. I was like, what is going on here? Like, I'm thinking, I was saying to Riley earlier that my vision of like you guys in form, year 7, you're so clean cut, right? I'm just seeing you guys going through your age and everything, and I'm going, what the hell? He's in a cowboy outfit DJing. Is this what's really going on in TikTok world these days? Like, I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I think it was good fun as well. Like a lot of the crowd were like loving it as well. It was sort of like people were getting you're getting attention from that because people like grabbing the hat. Like feel like what like no one sees like a person dressed in a cowboy outfit DJing. Like
Well, it goes against the grain, right? And
yeah,
it brings attention,
yeah,
and it kind of like okay, and for me, that's kind of like I'll remember that moment of like Qeegs in the cowboy outfit. Not that it's something you're going to be wearing every weekend, but it sticks in your mind, and I think it's important for the marketing aspect of things that when you are dressed differently or you do something against that's not quite against which goes against what everyone else is doing
normality. Yeah,
normality, then you stand out, right? So if you look at Fisher, for instance, glasses, bucket hat, right?
he's got his thing. Yeah,
He's got his thing. Do you have your thing?
um, probably to be honest, in recent times, I think in the last 3 to 6 months, I don't think I've DJ'd like with a shirt. I've just DJ'd in a tank top every time.
So that's your thing, in tank
I
top.
think well now like I won't DJ in a shirt. I always DJ in a tank top now. I think I started doing it because it was like so hot at the vault, like playing closes, and then I did it like 2 or 3 times, and then I didn't do it, and then I was playing at the vault, and someone was like, in the car was like, "Oh, where's your tank top? Like, where's it?" So I was like, well, "Okay, maybe I'll just like keep doing it," and then I was like, "Fuck it, I didn't care. Like, I was like enjoying it, and then I was like, I'm just gonna wear it every time now. Like,
Yeah, that's
and then
becomes your little staple. That's you.
yeah,
People recognize you for that.
yeah, and I just like doing it, and I just feel like it's just something I'm just gonna keep doing.
Yeah.
I to the point I actually got a late call up for a set. I think it was a call up on the night for the vault, and I'd been out at the 21st, and I was at the vault at the time. I got my mum, bless her, I love you.
Shout out.
She drove from home with my tank top and drove to the vault, and like I went out the front. And she gave me the tank top, and I put it on, and then so I could wear it when I DJ'd.
That's brilliant. I mean, mums. Honestly, my mum's done me a lot of favors back well, still now up until now. Honestly, I don't know what we would do without our mums, but that's so funny. Like, fact, you're DJing in a tank top, you're building your personal brand, people recognizing you, and look, for me, going out clubbing is not a thing of the past. I very much still do festivals, and if actually, to be fair, I can't remember the last time I did a club shoot, but especially festivals, it goes about at 12, 1 o'clock, whatever. So I'm more behind the camera creating the content for the artist or the festival and so on. But I know for a fact that, like, if I'm going to go out till 12, 1 o'clock, that you need stamina, right? Yeah. And what does that look like for you, just moving away from the DJing, which I think is the obvious part? What do you do to keep yourself fit, during the day to be able to perform until 5 a.m. in the morning?
Not too much. Like it's pretty simple. Like my whole life's pretty simple. I literally do the same thing every day. I just go to work, finish work, go to the gym, and then just go home, make music, have dinner, and then watch.
So you make music every day?
Yeah, I've tried to probably like 4 or 5 times a week.
So when you say make music, you mean producing it, or do you mean? Okay, what does that look like?
Just me sitting in my studio, in my bedroom studio, just like some speakers, just me sitting there, just pouring out any ideas I have, and just trying to see what I like, and yeah, just try and make a song a week, or get like started on a song a week. But I tend to go back on a lot of songs and try and scrub them up, and like because I feel like my sound's sort of changing as I'm going along, and I'm taking elements and aspects from different sort of genres that I'm liking, and sort of putting that into like my sort of crafting my sort of sound, which is why I've sort of held back on releasing music at the time, because I've just been sort of crafting that sound and trying to get exactly how I'm liking it, which I feel like I've sort of hit now. So going forward, I'll definitely look at getting some music out soon.
So when I look at your socials, I don't really see any producer aspect there. I see a DJ.
Yeah.
So are people aware that you're producing music?
Yeah, people are, because I do put up like a lot of stories as well, just like photos in the studio, or like snippets of songs, and like I get a lot of good feedback on those as well. I just put out a reel yesterday, just like teasing it, upcoming release, which will be in a couple of weeks. So yeah, I do make sure to put that out, because I want people to know that. And then like if I play one of my own songs like in a set, I always make sure I'll pass my phone to someone, get them videoed, or video it myself, just so I can put it out and show people like, oh, this is like my new song. Like, what do you think? I've just played this and whatever. So always trying to put that out there as well.
Are you allowed to play your songs at the club or at the festival, your own song, outside of commercial stuff that's out there?
Yeah, because obviously the sound at the vault and the sound that I'm making, it's the same thing. Like it's the same. I'm making sort of hard house, techno sort of stuff with like I'm making like housey stuff as well. So it's all along those sort of genres, which is obviously what the Vault's putting out. So then yeah, playing my songs, yeah, fits in well, and like I just fit in well into my sets.
That's incredible. So you're producing music, you're DJing till very early hours in the morning if you have to, and you get called up and so on. So the Perth music scene,
Yeah,
you've been in it relatively short period of time.
yeah, probably 3 years.
3 years, right? Have you seen a major change from when you started to now?
I think I've definitely seen a bit of a change, majorly in like the D&B scene. I feel like that D&B scene in Perth is like fucking massive now. Like it's huge,
Mm.
like biggest in Australia for D&B. And I feel like it. I don't know. I wasn't. Maybe it wasn't because I wasn't too much into it like 3 years ago. But I definitely feel as though it's gotten so much bigger in the last like year or two. And then also like the house and techno scene as well. Like you said, the vault every week is like capacity every week. Like it's so busy every week. The line's like long. Like it's good to see people are like wanting to listen to that music every week. Which is good because like having that weekly night and like they're doing like the vault's doing weekly Fridays coming up starting in May, which is gonna be
What does that mean?
that'll be drum and bass on Fridays
Okay.
as opposed to the house and techno on Saturdays,
Okay.
which also caters for that drum and bass audience, which I think feels really good for the scene as well because having two weekly like nights for that sort of electronic music, like different genres, is pretty strong and good for the scene as well.
Yeah, that's incredible. And so you started with you made that friendship with Bailey. You DJ'd from 9 till 11. Do you have more of an in-depth involvement with Vault now?
I do, yeah, a few bits and bobs like when Isaac needs help with artist liaison work.
What does that mean?
Um,
Artist what liaison?
Artist liaison, yeah. So obviously they book a headliner every week, every second week, like
Okay.
pretty consistently. Like if Isaac doesn't want to, or Isaac has something on, because Isaac normally does the liaison. It's sort of just like consists of like picking them up from the hotel, taking them to the venue,
Okay.
making sure they've got their drinks, their rider, or whatever, and then they go DJ, and then take them back to the hotel. Pretty much.
And so you're in charge of doing that, booking them in.
No, not in charge. I just help out when help's needed.
So
with that.
So you are very much part of the integral. You're part of the Vault family.
Yeah,
right?
I'd say that.
I would say that.
Yeah.
From what I'm seeing from the outside.
Yeah. I'm really close to those boys and like do a lot of help. Like any promo with anything, like I promote all that stuff. And
Yeah. And you purely do it for the love.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
That's incredible. I love that.
Love
And
the boys and like love the scene, that sort of stuff. Yeah.
where do you see Vault going?
Um,
Is there big things happening for Vault, like festivals or anything
I
like
think
that?
there's a few things happening that I think are in the works behind the scenes, but I don't think there's much I can say on that. I know there's a few things I know there's a few things that they are looking at doing, but I don't know. I think I can see it like progressing as it is now, and like just consistently being that staple for house and techno music, like in Perth, like that weekly staple, and like booking like interstate and international talent weekly. I think it's just really strong for the scene. I can just see it progressing as that, and like bigger acts, and obviously they've had like the likes of like Dom Dollar, Rufus, like after festivals, and like that's gonna obviously keep happening. Like people want to play there after festivals and stuff like that, which is good. Yeah,
that's so good. I'm just going to cut off there. Can you just go and tell them downstairs, because they're going to lock up at 5. Just tell them not to say, hey, bye, Lloyd, because they're going to scream on top of their heads. Just tell them that we're just recording and stuff. Okay, cool. Sorry, yeah, I got it. So we'll continue from there. So there's things happening for behind the scenes of Vault, and you can't release it, we can't disclose any of that, which is fine. What I'm super interested in, right, is you're saying your progression between going from, what fascinates me is you've gone from like just your bedroom, kind of like going to bar one. Now you're very much, I feel that you're involved in Vault quite a lot than what you're probably giving out, right? And so you are building such a strong personal brand.
Yeah, that's what I definitely try and do.
Do you have a strategy for that?
Not really like a written strategy. I just try and I try and like show my life and like how things are, like posting random shit, stupid shit to my mates. Like, just I try and post like anything on my stories and like just try and show my life, and then like as well as like posts with like DJ content videos, like still posting like content about my life and sort of
Mm.
showing my personality and life behind like everything else that I do.
I think that's so good. And like you're building your personal brand and you're doing, you're showcasing that behind the scenes, which I think that's what a lot of people feed into because
Yeah.
you see one set, when you see those great photos or great reels on you doing your thing on a Saturday night, Friday night, but you don't see what's happening behind closed doors, so to speak, and that journey and those struggles and everything else. In regards to your personal journey, Vol, everything else, where do you see yourself, let's say, in the next couple of years?
Um, I the main thing for me is just I want to be putting out music consistently.
So
And
more producing stuff.
yeah, well, I have been producing. I've got like so many songs that I'm like they're probably ready to release, but I just haven't. I've been holding back because
Okay.
I've been changing them up, like sort of sculpting my sound to how I want it to be today. So yeah, in the next 3 years, definitely main thing just like I want to be putting out more music.
Mm,
I want to be putting like consistently
mm.
on like all platforms, remixes on like SoundCloud. Yeah, just trying to. That's probably the main thing.
One thing you've put on, the questionnaire that I send
Yeah,
out, like, and you put on here quality over quantity.
yeah.
What does that mean to you?
So what was it? What was the
You've been
prompt
quite
on that again?
well. You put on here just your quality over quantity. And to give you context, is it's more about the standard brand artistic integrity.
Yeah, I feel as though also with like content, I'd rather put out less content but make it like this much better. So like instead of just posting fucking random like photos or whatever, like yeah, it's good putting it consistently out, but sometimes it could I don't know how to put it word it, but like I'd rather put out like the better content, less of it.
Mm.
'Cause I feel like it's hard to put out like really good content consistently because obviously there's like you need to be playing the shows, doing this and that.
And I think that like I resonate with that because being a creative, you want your content to be the best it is out there,
Yeah,
right? But I think there's a catch-22. There are yourself. You're focused on the quality of your work, and you want to be able to showcase, put yourself in the best light that people can see what you're producing. But there's also that element of like, okay, at what point do you kind of go, okay, that's enough, and then send it out, right? Because when I create content, whether for businesses or for myself, I could sit there for hours and go, that's not good enough. That's not
yeah,
good enough. That's good enough. And I think that's a learning curve in any creative aspect, right? That you've got to have that confidence to kind of go, okay, I've done what I can with this piece of content, chuck it out there. I'm a strong believer that social media is so fast paced that like, even if I asked you, do you remember what was the last thing you saw on Instagram, TikTok? You probably couldn't even tell me. However, you'll remember a movie, your last movie that you watched, and because there's an emotional connection to it. So when you DJing out there, for me, the emotional connection to you is like I'm seeing the energy, the crowd, and you just going absolutely pumping it out there.
yeah.
How do you want people to recognize you, or see you out there?
That's a good question actually. I don't know. I just like to be seen like I just want to be seen as I am. Like that's why I try and just be transparent with everything on socials. Like I don't want to be fake about anything and like lie about shit or like pretend like I don't want to be like faking shit or like trying to pretend to be all this and all that when I'm not. I just want to try and be like as transparent and as like much of me as I can be. And I feel like I just want people to see me as me
Love that.
and like yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's perfect. So your track, do we know when that's been released?
Yeah, it's actually gonna be my first release.
Yep.
It's a remix of a band I like called Fontaine's DC. Their
Okay.
song Starburster. I'm looking at probably within the next 2 weeks.
So we'll put once you give me the details, we'll put the description
Yeah,
and wherever this gets
yeah,
released. Right, producer Riley will put the details in. Yeah, okay. Producer Riley will put all the details in there. And we'll make sure we'll drive people to your release and
yeah.
hopefully release this podcast close to when you release that. What are you expecting from when you release that? So what's the sort of moves? What are you expecting?
I feel like because I've been so hesitant on like releasing a lot of music because I've been like about shaping my sound into what I want it to be. I feel like once I get that first release out, it's just gonna make me hungry to just start putting more out.
Mm.
And now that I've got it out, I think that'll just give me that sort of motivation. Okay, like now let's just start rolling these tracks out because I've been working on like a lot of them and like I probably got my first 12 releases like
Ready to go.
pretty much like figured out. Like a few need to be like finished, touched up. They probably want to be touched up. but like and like finish off a bit. But I know like what I'm gonna release, and I feel like it's just like a matter of now of just I knew when I finished this song, the one that I'm gonna release first, that it was gonna be the one I released first because I sent a lot of my music to the boys, and then all of them were just like, "This is the one. Like this is so good." And I was like, I want to start with something that I loved, and it's my favorite song I've ever made.
Yeah.
Like I just like love it, and so I was like, "This is the one I'm gonna release." And then
I sense a bit of
nerves.
nerves releasing it.
No, I wouldn't say nervous because I'm just happy to just put it out. Like I don't care how it does. I know like it's with music, it's just like a long journey and just putting it out. I think I'm more just keen to start getting music out.
And you're there for the long haul.
Yeah,
Yeah. And so you see yourself producing music, like you say, for a long period of time. You're DJing. So what would be your advice to like someone who's thinking of getting into DJing?
just do it. Literally do it. And I would, if I was to do it again, I would go and get lessons. Like it's expensive, but there's a lot of courses out there. It's like, but you can learn everything that I learned in like 6 months to a year in like 6 weeks.
Yeah, okay.
And it's like, why would you not do that when those resources are there? They were there when I started, but I just was like, nah, I'll just teach myself. But like, it's so helpful, like doing that course, and you actually get told everything.
So
Like,
are you consistently learning at the moment? Like, do you learn new
um,
things, or you kind of think, okay, as a creative, like I will see things. I think, oh, okay, I might see something that someone's created, and I kind of go, okay, how can I put my own twist onto it? But it challenges my thinking. It challenges my creativity.
yeah.
Do you hear like releases from Fisher or whoever your inspiration? Actually, we didn't ask you. Who do you have an inspiration artist that you follow? Oh, he doesn't.
No, I don't know. It's hard. I don't know if I have an inspiration. I just have a lot of artists that I like,
Okay.
and I like their music, and I like the way they are on like socials and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. That's incredible. Qeegs, thank
Yes.
you so much for having a chat with us.
Thank you for having me.
I haven't quite finished. I've got one last question for you.
Yeah.
All right. And you wouldn't have seen this because we haven't, the Brain Break podcast will be launching next week. So you won't know what the tradition is here at Brain Breaks podcast.
Yeah.
So I didn't put this in the questionnaire. But what we invite our guests to do, and it's a bit on the spot, is to challenge the listeners or viewers, right, to one thing they can do if they're into the music scene. What is one thing you would challenge them to do to better themselves to get to wherever they want to go?
If they're like wanting to pursue the
Maybe
music
just
scene, or
maybe
just
because they're going to be watching this, right? And people might think, yeah, I want to give this a crack. We're talking about a challenge. So is it more? And I'll give you an example because you've given there was one here. You said that your personal growth, right? And you said you spent many hours after work, 6 hours,
yeah.
like just practicing. What is one challenge you would give the listeners or viewers to do?
Oh, that's a tough question. Hmm. Uh, I'm not actually.
Go on.
Give me a second.
That's okay.
I think
Okay.
a challenge.
A few moments later. Is that the meme? One challenge. So just think more. That's okay because I can cut this off.
Yeah.
But I'm more just sort of thinking like think more about how the struggles you've gone through, and so but think like you overcome those. It might be the like set of routine. It might be like go and buy your first track and do a mix of some. I don't know. Just talk your language in DJing.
Yeah.
But what is the challenge you would give someone? Say if you were thinking about DJing, I challenge you to mix three tracks together or something like that and add in a reverb effect or whatever it is, but make sure it does X, Y, Z. Well, does that make sense? Or just some kind of challenge. So I can rephrase that. So, Qeegs, what sort of challenge would you give the viewers and listeners for them to get better at what they do and to pursue what they love? And I assume based off this conversation could be DJing.
If we're going DJing, probably something that's actually pretty fun that I've done is I would just have like a lot of music, and I'd set like a time frame and see how many genres I can mix in like this time, or like in this certain, say 10 minutes, whatever, or see if you can go from like the lowest beats per minute, like say 70, and try and get up to like 174, like I don't know, things like that. I've done that a lot. Like when I was learning a lot was like, I would just try and go through as many genres as I could in like the shortest amount of time.
That's
It's pretty
incredible.
fun as well.
That's so good. That's so good. And I'm sure they'll take a lot of value from this, because the point is we want to try and support your personal growth. And so when we set these challenges that people can reach out to, they're not going to reach out to me and say, I've put these beats per minute. I'll be like, I've got no idea. Reach out to old mate, right?
Yeah.
So the idea is that like potentially they can reach out to you and say, hey, can you have a listen to that? What do you reckon? Because you could be a person of influence to the next person that wants to go into this kind of industry. Qeegs, I honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure. And what a like producer Riley, what did I say? What did I say earlier? I said about full circle.
Yeah,
That's all right.
circle.
What a full circle moment, right?
Amazing.
Two of the ex students, like, and you'll hear both of you here, and it's incredible, and it's very humbling. It's great. I love it, and I just want to say thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. It was good chat.
Good chat, and best of luck for Volt and all of your producing music and everything else. We'll put all your descriptions in the show notes below,
Cool.
where they can follow you and everything else. But Qeegs, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.